Okay, so today we're going to talk Def dozer valves. Here's the latest, greatest generation. And then right here is the first generation. So let's talk about the first generation first. Okay, the first generation valve was, this is your Def dozer, which was your injector, which was controlled by the controller or the Def pump, depending what year it was. These came around in 2010 and they ran to about 2016, 2015. These right here are your two coolant lines. A lot of times guys had coolant leaks and they could never find them. They'd put EGR coolers and they do all kinds of stuff. And it was at the lines. The seals would leak here and they would never find it. Pressure testing. When you pressure test coolant on the first generation, always remember to go look at the Def dozer, the T lines, the tank heating lines. And so anyway, here's the dozer, and then right there is just the spray pattern. That's all it does. Is once the computer commands for injection, it'll inject into the decom tube, which has the metal, which makes the magic happen. So it's pretty simple, right? Def dozer, simple connector, controlled by the controller wherever it's at, if it's in the pump or the module. Two coolant lines, and that's it. 3 bolts, right? And I think I'm at about a 40% rate that I always break the bolts. And they're stainless, so when drilling them out tends to be a little bit difficult. Sometimes you're better off just getting a decom tube. Now, this guy is 2015, 2016 and up. And as you can tell, it's a lot different. So what happens is this mounts into the decom tube. And this right here actually Def fluid that's flowing through it constantly. And so what happens is this is a smart device. It's a J1939. As you can tell, it's got multiple pins. So what happens is this thing right here pulses. It will continuously pulse. And when it pulses, it'll have a pressure drop. And the ECM is looking for that pressure drop in the system to validate that the Def dozer is ready to go when it needs it. The old system, it would just come on when it needed it. The pump was continuously primed at 129, and when it was ready, it would open the valve to send the fluid through here, or it would open the valve here and it would let it inject, and it would pulse. This one actually pulses continuously to let it know that it's available for service, and the ECM is waiting to see that pressure drop. If it doesn't see that pressure drop, it's going to throw a code. If this plugs up, it's not going to pulse. The other thing is when it's pulsing, you have to be careful not to let it idle a lot, because you can accumulate Def fluid in the decom tube and it'll actually harden, and it's almost like brick. And if you notice, a lot of the DPF filters have an access port, and the reason they have an access port is because if this thing over pulses, it can actually plug the DPF and you have to break it out. And yes, you do have to break it out. Now, like I said, this is a smart device connector. I don't know if you can see it. And it's got J1939 capability, which means it can crash the system if it goes bad. Things that we have seen, the unit will measure pressure, but it won't inject, or it's trying to pulse, but because it's plugged, it won't inject. And we have also seen where this is reading no pressure. The pump is pressurized, and the pump is actually providing correct pressure, but this module inside fails and it can't read the pressure, so it goes crazy. And people put pumps and lines, and it's the Def dozer, and these are pretty expensive. The old style, the 2010 through 2016, the Def pump itself measured the pressure inside. This pump is different. I'll have to do a video on the pumps. If I can find the pumps, I'll do a video, side by side. So what happens is the ECM commands the pump to come on. It comes on, but the pressure of the pump is measured through this device. The pump is just running freely. Now, there is a way to test the pump There is a way to, and it's actually an interesting test. Maybe if someone will comment on, they want to see the procedure for testing the pump. First, I'll have to find a pump, and then I'll show you how we test the Def pump on these, because it's interesting how you do it, and it's kind of old school method. To me it is. But anyway, it's 3 bolts. These are easy to remove, a lot easier than these. These come off pretty quick. They're pretty quick to service. One thing I would tell you is, if you're having problems with the Def dozer for whatever reason, or the pump, one thing you can do is soak the pump in warm water first, because what will happen is when they're built, they're tested at the factory, but if they don't get thoroughly flushed, the Def fluid that remains will harden, and it won't pump, it won't make pressure. When this system first came out, we actually went through 4 brand new pumps, and when we went to class up in Columbus, Indiana, they told us that the problem was that they don't flush them thoroughly, and so what we have to do is submerge the pump in water to get it to start flowing. And yes, so everyone remembers, okay, Def fluid will freeze and Def fluid will damage components. This is pretty high dollar. So anyway, quick video of the day, something different. I came across these two. We're actually in the process of doing a service. They gave me this one, but I needed this one. So now we're going to install this one, and we're going to go return this one. In these valves, especially this one, I'm seeing it, and in some shape or form, you do see this on everything that has SCR, right? Selective catalytic reduction, SCR. You see some kind of similar shape form design on this one and this one. I don't care if you're running Volvo, I don't care if you're running Mack, I don't care if you're running Freightliner, I don't care if you're running Cummins, I don't care if you're running International. It seems like everyone went to this, whoever the maker of this is, whether it's Cummins or Bosch or Denso, whoever holds the patent. I mean, apparently nobody does it better than these, because this is the majority of everything I've seen out there is running this system, and that's why it's kind of interesting to try to learn the system, how it works, because once you learn it, it's, even though the electronics might be different, even though on the scan tool it might be different names, different parameters, once you have the theory of operation down, it's a lot easier to deal with. Anyway, hey, like I said, leave a comment, and if I get a comment about you want to see the test procedure for this, for the Def pump, let me know, and I'll see if I can have enough used pieces to do one. Thanks for watching.